What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Alex Wilson. And we have some New York Giants offensive line news to discuss today. Obviously, the offensive line did not perform as well as we had become accustomed to in the first few weeks of the season. In Week 7, a lot of pressure applied to quarterback Daniel Jones. Josh Ezeudu, starting at left tackle, was an obvious error that we all saw coming. We knew he was going to play like shit, and hey, he played like shit. So, now the Giants are scrambling and trying to find themselves a new left tackle. They brought in DJ Humphries for a visit today. A veteran left tackle, 9 years of experience, almost 100 career starts under his belt, former first-round pick. Coming off of a torn ACL, but visiting with the New York Giants, seemingly close to being healthy enough to play. Now, I'll just give you my initial reaction. I would love this signing. In fact, last week, Alex and I were talking about doing an episode on 3 free agents that the Giants could sign at left tackle to replace Andrew Thomas. We never got that one posted, but DJ Humphries was on our short list. We wanted to discuss him and why the Giants should bring him in for a visit. Alas, they've done exactly that, so we are excited about this one. And listen, I'll just be excited to get Josh Ezeudu off of the field. I mean, that's really how I feel. This guy is not an NFL-level offensive tackle. If you guys didn't see, Bill Belichick had some comments yesterday, and not to go on too much of a tangent here, but Alex, I think you know where I'm going with this. Belichick had some comments yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, and he discussed the Giants and kind of ripped into Joe Schoen, threw a lot of criticism his way. He had some comments about Saquon Barkley, but what I thought was really interesting were his comments on the offensive line. And one of the things he said is they have a guy playing left tackle who's not supposed to be playing left tackle. And I was like, thank you, Bill. Somebody prominent has finally said this, because we say it on this podcast and nobody seems to listen to us. Josh Ezeudu was drafted to play guard. He is an offensive guard. He is not a left tackle. The Giants' insistence to make this kid a left tackle when he's not truly a left tackle is one of the most ridiculous and egregious errors that this coaching staff has made in the 3 years that they've been running this crappy team. So that's how I feel about it. Thank you, Bill Belichick, for speaking up on it and highlighting the incompetence of this coaching staff trying to force Josh Ezeudu in at left tackle. It's completely ridiculous. But alas, finally, they seem to be looking for a true left tackle to fill in for Andrew Thomas. This was an obvious position of need that we identified during the offseason. We said if Thomas goes down, this team does not have a backup left tackle. They'll have to do scrambling, move Ezeudu in, or move Jermaine Illuminor, and then see what they've got in Evan Neal. We didn't want to see any of this happen. The Giants should have just signed a backup left tackle this offseason. They didn't do that. Now they're scrambling to do so. And while I like the DJ Humphries idea, we are talking about a 30-plus-year-old offensive tackle coming off of a torn ACL. So we'll go ahead and unpack it, react to it. Alex, how are you doing today, my friend? What are your thoughts on the Giants bringing DJ Humphries in for a free agent visit? Do you think they should sign him? Do you think it would be an upgrade?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Giants need help. They need desperate help. This is desperate call for measure right now. I mean, watching Josh Ezeudu last weekend made me have flashbacks of nightmares that I've had for many years now. And looking at this Giants offensive line, the progress they've made, and then suddenly being shot in the foot with the Andrew Thomas season-ending injury, again, I'm going to say it again and again and again. As long as they have a liability at left tackle, they are absolutely compromising Daniel Jones' health, which is the worst possible thing the Giants can do at this point in the season. They're 2-5. Their playoff hopes are gone. They're struggling. Their offense is dog water. Daniel Jones has been so bad the last 2 weeks. There is nothing left to say. There is nothing left to do. The Giants have to protect themselves, whether it be starting Drew Lock, whether it be bringing in a left tackle that even knows a damn thing about playing left tackle. Before I dive into DJ Humphrey, I want to give you a shout out from our sponsor, BetUS. Big day today. NBA starting up. Knicks Celtics. If you're a Knicks fan like I am, big season ahead. I'm going to the game on Friday. Super excited about that. And that because I'm a Knicks fan, I'm absolutely smashing Knicks money line on the BetUS website. Plus 190. It's like I don't know why that's such a good line, why it's plus 190, but the Celtics, I mean, the championship winning team usually loses the first game of the season. They don't have Kristaps Porzingis. The Knicks are rebuffed. They got Bridges. They got OG Anunoby on the extension. Karl Anthony Towns, better spacing, good bench. I think the Knicks win this game outright. So I'm going plus 190 on this one. And make sure to use our promo code YouTube150 to get 150% match. up to $2,000 on your first deposit and 125% match on your next two deposits as well, up to $2,000. So really, really good deal there. Make sure to go capitalize on that promo they are running all NFL season long. But looking at DJ Humphries, Anthony, listen, DJ Humphries is a former first-round pick. This is a 30-year-old player. Yeah, he's a bit older, but I don't care if Josh Zudu is 26 or DJ Humphries is 30 coming off an ACL tear. We know which player is better. The one that's played over 6,000 snaps in his career. DJ Humphries has played 3 seasons in his career with over 1,000 snaps. At one point, he was one of the best run-blocking left tackles in the sport. He does have a little bit of experience at right tackle, but that was all the way in his rookie season back in 2016. So he's a true and tried left tackle now, guys. Don't get it twisted. And he's been more than adequate as a pass protector throughout his career as well. In 2023, he had a 68.4 grade according to PFF, gave up 28 pressures and 4 sacks over 922 snaps, which, by the way, is not bad at all. I'd actually welcome those numbers as a backup left tackle. He's not going to cost you much. I'm sure the Giants are playing the game. Well, we want you to start in the practice squad and work your way up. Brother, we need help now. Get this guy in the active roster now. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about it. He is better than Josh Ezeudu right now, and it's not even a question. It's not even a conversation. I don't give a shit if he's coming off an ACL tear. He has one limb. He can play better than Josh Ezeudu right now because of that experience. I'd rather get him in there ASAP. Listen, he's not going to play on a short week. He's not going to play against the Steelers. But get him in here now. Get him working. Get him ready, and have him ready for week 9. Because you are compromising the health of your quarterback who has an injury clause that could absolutely cook us alive if he gets hurt. So the longer they go with a liability left tackle, the worse this situation gets. So Anthony, I'm all for signing DJ Humphries. They need to bring him in. They need to get him in there ASAP. They need to give him a roster spot, and they need to prepare for him to be starting a left tackle as soon as humanly possible, under one condition, that he's healthy and passes the physical, which is obviously a necessity for him to sign the contract anyway.
Yeah, if he doesn't pass the physical, they're not going to sign him. So, that's the end-all be-all. But I don't think that this Giants team is looking at DJ Humphries as a player that's going to start on the practice squad. I'm going to disagree with you there, Alex. I think this is a player that they are going to sign to play immediately. DJ Humphries is not one of those guys that you bring in for a free agent visit expecting him to be a backup, somebody who works in worst-case scenarios. He is a 9-year starter. He is one of the better offensive tackles in the NFL when he's healthy. I mean, if you look at his career, this guy's a Pro Bowler, Alex. He went to the Pro Bowl not long ago, 2021. That's not a lifetime ago. That's only a few seasons ago, right? So this guy is a great talent. He is absolutely a starting quality offensive tackle in the NFL. This would be a signing that the Giants make to immediately plug into their starting lineup. And thank God if they get this signing done. Because again, watching Josh Ezeudu on Sunday was painful. We knew it was going to be a tough one for him against Philadelphia. Philadelphia doesn't even have that great of pass rushers, Alex. They have that, what's his name? That Georgia kid, Nolan Smith or whatever. He's 230 pounds as an edge rusher. Everybody always makes fun of him for being undersized. Bryce Huff is in the same vein. He's not really a big, brawling edge rusher. He's also undersized. Those guys were throwing Josh Ezeudu around like a rag doll. It was pathetic. Those are the undersized pass rushers that get thrown around all the time, and they were manhandling Josh Ezeudu. So that tells you everything you need to know. The kid is just not cut out to play left tackle in the NFL. Maybe he could play guard like he was supposed to, like he did throughout his collegiate career and football career prior to the NFL. But alas, the New York Giants said, hey, get ready to learn left tackle, buddy. And now he's been our backup left tackle, and it has never made sense to me. So signing a true and tried former first round pick left tackle like DJ Humphries would be a great signing for this Giants team. If you're looking at his stats last year, 28 total pressures surrendered and 4 sacks across 922 snaps. That is an excellent stat line. That is a stat line that far exceeds anything that the Giants had on their roster in the 2023 season. And if you're looking at some of his best seasons of his career, 2020, 23 pressures and 3 sacks. Then he had 42 pressures and 7 sacks, 15 pressures, 0 sacks. This is a good offensive tackle, a pass protector that can actually solidify your blind side. Andrew Thomas not being in the lineup sucks because he's not only an elite pass protector, he's also an elite run blocker. Not really an elite run blocker here with DJ Humphries, but he is a good all-around player and an excellent pass protector. This is the guy that I want on this team tomorrow. Actually, scratch that. I want him on this team today. If he could suit up tomorrow and get into practice and get on this field on Sunday, or on Monday rather, I want him there. I doubt it happens because it would be a short week, but going into week 9, like you said, Alex, get DJ Humphries on this team, get his ass on the football field. I don't want to see any more Josh Azidu, and I sure as shit don't want to see any Evan Neal. Like there is a part of me that's intrigued by can Evan Neal eventually turn it around? This is why I don't want to see Evan Neal anymore. I'm going to explain this to you, Alex. The Giants seem so terrified of putting Evan Neal on the field. They have had all of these injuries over the past couple years, right? And here they are. So looking at DJ Humphries, this guy coming off of a torn ACL. Nobody knows how good he's going to be when he comes back. And they're like, yeah, well, even though he just ripped a ligament in his knee, we could guarantee you he'll be better at left tackle than Evan Neal will be. So they're just going to keep burying Evan Neal in this depth chart. The Giants are terrified of putting him on the field. So you know what? For that reason, I am also terrified to see him on the field. If they have been coaching him behind the scenes, Carmen Brasillo has been coaching him behind the scenes all these months now, and they still have no confidence in him and can't even fathom the idea of putting him in the starting lineup, then that tells you something. That tells you that this kid cannot see the field this season. He probably won't at any point, and the Giants absolutely should continue to do whatever they can to find someone else to play left tackle, because I could tell you, shouldn't be Josh Azidu. It's not going to be Jermaine Illuminor. They want to keep him at right tackle, clearly, and it's definitely not going to be Evan Neal. The Giants seem terrified of putting that kid on the field. Alex, I know you wrote something about Evan Neal today. I know you've got some thoughts and opinions. Now that the Giants are clearly looking at other options off of their roster, one thing that comes to mind, I think Evan Neal is on this roster bubble. I don't even think they want him here. I think they want him out of the building. Otherwise, why isn't he getting any opportunities to get in the starting lineup? They're not even considering that idea. What's your reaction to that? What are your thoughts on Evan Neal? Do you think we see him at some point this season, or are you in the same boat as me? The Giants are doing everything they can to keep him off of the field now.
Well, okay, so I'll say this. If Evan Neal is not playing, and they're not even considering him as an option, as an alternative or a supplement, he's not even in the equation. They've buried him. He's in the Mariana Trench of roster positions right now. What that tells me, and listen, I'm just basing my analysis here on what I think is happening and not what actually may be happening, because I'm not behind those closed doors. But what I can deduct is that Evan Neal must be looking really bad in practice for them to bury him this far. Right? He must be struggling against our pass rushers in practice. He must be not taking to the coaching as well as they hope. Put him at left tackle, where he played at college. Guys, we see prospects come from college who play their respective positions suck at the NFL level, right? And that just because he played left tackle in college does not mean even remotely that Evan Neal is going to be a good left tackle, or even a competent left tackle. In fact, it's probably going to hurt him that he will move another time after spending the last 2 years at right tackle, then having to switch back over. I mean, the guy's barely even taken a right tackle. Switching him now again after building up his fundamentals on the other side, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for him to struggle and suffer and perform poorly and destroy his confidence again. They want him sitting there like de facto rookie season, learning, sitting, struggling, as if he was a rookie. That's how they're treating him right now, as if he was a rookie that is not ready to play. They're treating him as if he's a 6th-round offensive tackle rookie. That's how they're treating Evan Neal. And to be quite honest with you, I think that's exactly how they should be treating him, because he has not earned a single down of work with what he's put on football, put on tape and put on the football field. He has not earned a single down. And I respect him for being humble about it and understanding his role and understanding that he is not ready, right? The Giants, listen, do I think the Giants are making a mistake not putting him out there? No, I don't think they're making a mistake not putting him out there, because clearly they do not feel he is ready. I trust Carmen Brasillo, right? For what he's done so far for this offensive line, I'm willing to give Carmen Brasillo the benefit of the doubt that he knows what he's doing. Right? He's earned that respect from me so far. Losing Andrew Thomas, that would kill anybody. Any unit, any offensive line losing their star left tackle is going to get significantly worse overnight. That is just a fact, right? Carmen Brasillo is now facing the same situation. If he doesn't think Evan Neal is ready, he is not ready, right? That's how I feel about it. But with that being said, neither is Josh Azidu. They don't have anybody else, and they don't want to mess with the offensive line in terms of moving Jermaine Illuminor to left tackle, especially because TJ Watt lines up over the right tackle position more than any other spot. So they want him there this week. They wanted to give Josh Azidu a chance. He failed to deliver, but TJ Watt goes up against the right tackle. So you're going to keep Jermaine Illuminor there naturally. That makes the most logical sense. You're going to probably survive with Azidu for one more game, and you have to sign DJ. If he passes physically, you have to sign DJ Humphries, because he is the best option that you have, right? We have nobody else. unless you want to go get Tyree Phillips or whatever it might be. There's just nobody else. You need to sign somebody. If he's healthy enough and he's ready to make a comeback, you need him in this building, learning the playbook, and ready to start in week 9. That's where we are at this point in time, Anthony. But I don't know. Do you disagree with me on Evan Neal? If Carmen Basilio does not think he's ready, I do not think he should be out there. And clearly he is struggling. Clearly he's not where he needs to be because they have no interest in using him whatsoever.
I mean, listen, we're talking about a kid that's battled injuries every season of his career, and after he had that ankle injury last season, it was, okay, take the time off, recoup, reset, get ready for next season. Then he showed up to camp and he wasn't able to play. His rehab hadn't gone along the way it was supposed to. He seemed like he just didn't even have an interest in getting on the field, and Alex, this is something we don't talk enough about. We did see Evan Neal this year. We saw him in preseason against the Jets. He was a fucking disaster. He always is. He went out there and he let up a sack. He let the quarterback get absolutely demolished, just like we knew he would. Evan Neal sucked just as bad in the preseason as he sucked in every single regular season game that he's played so far this season. So, I'm over it. The experiment, whatever. I know a couple weeks ago I expressed some interest in seeing him get back on the field, and I said, hey, if he does get on the field, I'll be rooting for him, and that's still true. I'll be rooting for him, and I want him to turn his career around. But at this point, the fact that the Giants don't even have an interest in putting him on the field, despite the injuries to Andrew Thomas, despite the poor performance of Josh Azidu, it tells me everything that I need to know. This coaching staff doesn't trust him. They have zero faith in him, and neither should we. So, if this is what the Giants are going to do, they're going to move forward and keep burying Evan Neal in this depth chart. Go out there and sign DJ Humphries. Find someone competent to play left tackle before your quarterback, as you mentioned, Alex, with an injury clause, gets hurt and derails the entire future of your team. It's very, very necessary for the Giants to make this move. So, hoping to see DJ Humphries get signed soon. Again, Evan Neal, hope he somehow has the career resurgence. I'm just not banking on it anymore. I don't know, man. I'm just afraid to see him on the field. I think he's a bad football player, and it just is what it is. And you know what, Alex? It really sucks to say because the Giants had 2 top 10 picks in that draft in 2022. They drafted Kayvon Thibodeau, who has had great moments, but has also had some really poor moments and really has failed to live up to the hype of a top 5 pick. And they drafted Evan Neal, who, yeah, like you said, is basically being treated like a 5th, 6th round pick. They don't even want him on the field. They don't want him anywhere close to the football field. So, really disappointing results there. Evan Neal is easily one of the biggest draft misses for the New York Giants in recent memory, and it's just very unfortunate to say. So, with no Evan Neal going out there, at least we can know that our quarterback probably has a higher chance of staying upright, because anytime Evan Neal is out there, the quarterback seems to be face planted nearly every single play. But the offensive line, Alex, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it played that poorly last week. Yeah, there was a lot more pressure. We knew that was going to happen with Andrew Thomas out of lineup. I attributed a lot of that to play calling, honestly. There was a lot of long developing passing plays and a real lack of identity in the rushing attack from the Giants on Sunday. I think all of that really contributed to the poor pass protection that we saw from the offensive line. So on top of needing the offensive linemen to play better, we need Brian Daboll to call plays better and actually protect his quarterback with his play calling, because that is a hidden element to keeping the quarterback upright. Play calling. Play actions help mitigate pass rush. Having a strong rushing attack with a dynamic running back like Tyrone Tracy, who's also a good pass protector for what it's worth as a running back, doing those things, they help mitigate the pressure. They help keep your quarterback upright. So it's not just Daniel Jones. It's not just Josh Azidu in the offensive line, but it's also Brian Daboll. He needs to take some accountability. He is worthy of some of the blame here for the Giants' pass protection woes in Week 7. But now going into Week 8, Alex, oh boy, let me tell you, that Pittsburgh Steelers defense, they got some dogs. TJ Watt is going to go out there and have a freaking field day against this New York Giants team if they are unable to establish a rushing attack. First and foremost, the Giants cannot go into this game expecting Daniel Jones to drop back 40 freaking times and throw the football well against the Steelers' defense. The pass rush beats up on the best offensive lines in the NFL. The Giants don't have the worst offensive line in the NFL anymore, right? It's better. It's almost average at this point through the first 7 weeks of the season. But even still, an average offensive line, zero match for the Pittsburgh Steelers' defensive line, their linebackers, their pass rush. We all know it's the best in the NFL. So no matter what, the number one thing that the Giants need to do, it's not making any change on the offensive line. It's not benching Josh Azidu. It's not putting in Evan Neal, and it's not signing DJ Humphries. It's running the goddamn football. 3 rushing attempts for the running backs in the first half last week was unacceptable. Tyrone Tracy Jr., 80 total yards through the first 2 starts of his career. Why was he not touching the football in that first half on Sunday? Doesn't make sense to me. I know it doesn't make sense to you either, Alex. The Giants want to win this game. They want to have a chance against Pittsburgh. You cannot expect to drop back 40 times. You're going to have to find clever ways to create space for your running backs, run the football effectively, and establish a passing attack with your rushing attack. That's going to be the key to a potential upset victory on Monday Night Football. How are you feeling about that, Alex? I think that's probably a good way to wrap up the conversation on this offensive line. Really, though, my point here being the offensive line isn't always the offensive line's biggest problem. Sometimes it can be the play calling, and establishing a rushing attack should help them in pass protection. That should be the number one key for Brian Daboll.
I mean, listen, the Giants, they don't make any sense to me. One week they run for over 100 yards, the next week their running back has a ton of receiving yards, and then the next week they don't use them at all. And it's like, wait, hold on a second. You get Malik Neighbors back, and then you abandon the thing that was working when you didn't have him. Offense is about balance, right? It's about balance. Perfect example being what we saw yesterday with the Ravens. They didn't even use Derrick Henry in the first half. He rushed the ball for like 5 times. And then the second half, he had 180 yards. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I think we get it. Like, you don't always have to be a one-dimensional offense. You can be balanced. You can ride the hot hand. You can use your other playmakers. But the thing is that the Giants forget how to use other playmakers. They forget how to use their guys that are playing well. The Ravens deploy Derrick Henry strategically and in the right moments and at the right times when they've demoralized the team, and then they use him as their closer. Like, they have a strategy. The Giants have no plan. Every single week, at least most weeks, I'll say some weeks we're like, okay, this is what we hired Brian Daboll to do. He looked like he had a plan. But some weeks it's like, dude, what's the plan here? You ran the ball 3 times in the first half, and people saying, well, the Giants were down. Guys, like, they had the first 2 series and they didn't run the ball. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't even try. Like, they didn't get the screen game going. They didn't run the football. The opposing Eagles defense, I watched them play off ball. They were covering the intermediate portions of the field down, deep portions of the field. It took the deep passing game away, took the intermediate passing game away, and the Giants didn't even capitalize on that. Like, they just didn't do anything to help themselves. They didn't lean on what was working for them. They didn't go back to their guys that were hot, and Tyrone Tracy specifically. Even Theo Johnson had a couple of nice plays with Neighbors out. And then Neighbors is over here pointing to Darius Slayton, and we still can't connect on guys who are wide open because Daniel Jones can't set his goddamn feet. You know what I mean? So this is like a full-scale, absolute disaster class from Brian Daboll, whose play calling has been extremely volatile and inconsistent. Daniel Jones, who can't hit a deep ball to save his life, and the only time he tries is in it's triple coverage and Malik Neighbors. Like, God help me, we saw freaking Drew Lock throw one anticipatory throw downfield, and it was a dime to Jalen Hyatt, who just dropped it. You know what I mean? Like, this is just how we are right now. Like, Daniel Jones can't hit the deep passes. The intermediate stuff he can't do. He can't throw on the run. He can check down, short concepts. He can't throw to the middle of the football field. So, yeah, like, the play calling is bad, and I do think that sometimes it is problematic, and sometimes I don't agree with it. But, Anthony, I do think it's very important to understand and recognize at the same time, Brian Daboll's playbook is completely strapped by Daniel Jones' limitations, right? Half his playbook is not there. It's crossed out on a big X. You know what I mean? It can't use it. Can't throw the ball downfield. Can't use explosive plays. Can't do this. Can't do that. Can't throw the middle of the field because Daniel Jones can't fucking do it. You know what I mean? So let's not act like Brian Daboll can't call a good game because he can. Half his playbook is fucking torn to shreds. It's in the freaking shredder, man, in pieces. Can't use it. So when people act as though Brian Daboll's the reason here the offense can't do anything, I agree to a certain degree because the running game was abandoned. I don't agree with that, even though the Giants were losing by the halftime. Part of the reason they were able to move the ball at all in the last 2 games is because of their running game. They need to commit to it. They need to stay the course. They need to maintain possession. They can't keep throwing their defense to the wolves, and running the football helps with that. So I do think, yes, like half his playbook is not even usable because of Daniel Jones. The other half he mismanages at times. Sometimes he hits it, he does it right. Sometimes it looks better. It's just a big clusterfuck, guys. This is just the reality of the situation. It's just nothing. There's no balance. There's no consistency. It's too volatile. And it's because of the quarterback position. It's because Andrew Thomas is injured. And it's because Brian Daboll sometimes forgets how to call plays. And it's like, what the hell is going on? This team lacks consistency. It lacks balance. But this is nothing new. You guys know all this. You guys are just, preaching to the choir. You guys know all of what I'm saying. You guys could probably think of plays in your head right now that you remember, that you can recall from the last 2 weeks, that know exactly what I'm talking about right now. So, sitting here acting as though there's any hope, there's none. Our only hope right now is that we develop our young talent. Get a guy in here in DJ Humphries who's better than Josh Zudu, who can protect Daniel Jones from murdering himself, because half the pressures are on him anyway, right? So it's like, this is just where we are, but I want to stay positive in some respects. I can't for the Giants in general, because they are not willing to give me anything to be hopeful about, but there are silver linings. Dexter Lawrence, Drew Phillips, Brian Burns, Jermaine Illuminor is a guy I really love. You know this, though. John Runnion's been solid. Tyrone Tracy, Tyler Newbin's been really solid. Like, they have young core pieces developing here, and I can sit here and talk about the positives from them because I'm trying my best, and that's the only thing I can come to. But the rest of these guys, I mean, if we're talking about it, Anthony, we've been saying this, and we know this, and everyone knows this. John Mara knows it too, right? John Mara behind the scenes is sitting there wondering to himself, did I make the right choice hiring Brian Dable and Joe Shane? Did I make the right choice letting them get rid of Saquon Barkley? Did I make the right choice doing this? He's questioning everything that he's done, right? You better believe it. John Mara, he doesn't step in and do a lot. He doesn't force Joe Shane to do things. But you better believe he's in that room asking what Joe Shane is doing. He wants to know what's going on. He wants to be involved. Even if he's a fly on the wall, he wants to be involved, because the more information he has, the better he is able to make decisions about the future of this front office. And right now, he's questioning if they can do the job. There's no doubt about it. And they got to make some decisions soon, whether it be deciding to move on from DJ, whether, this offseason, Joe Shane has to have a clear-cut plan about what he is going to do to re-bolster this team, and tell John Mara, we're getting a new quarterback, we're bringing in some support of the secondary, we're doing these things, we're continuing the development of our young players, our rookie class is fantastic, we're continuing here, that's the plan, and we are going to execute it. He cannot go to John Mara and say, we're going to try to do this, we're going to try to do that, we're going to try to do this, and none of it happens, because the Giants, tend to screw with themselves and make weird decisions. He needs to say, our plan is to get a new quarterback, our plan is to turn things over, our plan is to turn the chapter, our plan is to get the fans back on our side by making good moves and instilling hope with a new player who can potentially lead us to a brighter future. That is the plan, and it must be executed, and it will be executed. That's what I'd be telling John Mara if I was Joe Shane, if I had any sense of saving my job right now, because John Mara is thinking who the hell's the future looks like if they continue to lose football games. If they get blown out in primetime again against the Steelers, I'm John Mara. I'm thinking about who the hell the future of this team is, a head coach and GM, in my opinion.
I mean, dude, if they get blown out on Monday night, once again on primetime, and let's be honest, it's just going to add more fuel to the fire for Daniel Jones, and it's going to be more evidence against him continuing as a starter. The kid has a 1-14 career primetime record, he's awful in primetime. If that goes to 1-15 career primetime record, I mean, if you're John Mara and you're looking at this thing, you step in and you tell this coaching staff, bench the freaking quarterback. What are you doing? He is clearly not helping us win games. I have a different opinion on John Mara. A lot of Giants fans think he meddles. I don't think he does. Go look at the other New York team, Woody Johnson. That's an owner for the Jets who meddles. He gets in the way of everything that the Jets want to do. He makes rash, emotional decisions. John Mara doesn't do any of those things. He lets the football guys do the football jobs. He just sits there, observes, and he provides the money for them to do it. And he provides his fanship because he is a true New York Giants fan and an owner. So that's how I feel about John Mara. I don't think he gets in the way. And I think as a fan, all he wants is to see the team that he owns win some goddamn football games, just like all of us want. We just want to see this Giants team win. And honestly, guys, John Mara, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. I think we can agree on that front, considering all of the losing that this Giants team has done in recent years. But he's also not the dumbest guy in the world, and I think that he can recognize the quarterback play is holding this team back. And again, as a fan, I think he's going to start feeling the same way we feel. Put somebody else in that quarterback position and see if it sparks something. See if we can win more games. I think that John Mara can look back on last season and remember that Tommy DeVito won some goddamn games with this team. I think he can remember that. I think he can remember Tyrod Taylor had some decent performances. So why not just see if another quarterback can do something right, fix the problems in this offense, and spark some plays. I think that Monday night is really just, it's death day for Daniel Jones, Alex. I think it's going to be the final nail in the coffin. He's going to have another stinker on primetime like he always does. The Pittsburgh Steelers' elite defense is going to embarrass him, force him to turn the ball over, and absolutely stomp us out. And then once that happens, it's death day. It's over. Daniel Jones, you're out of the starting lineup. Nobody wants to watch you play football anymore. We're sick and tired of watching this team lose. We're sick and tired of getting embarrassed on the national spotlight. You're done. And then they're going to go ahead and turn to Drew Lock, and he's probably going to spark something, guys. Honestly, I believe it. I don't think Drew Lock is good. I think he's a bad quarterback as well. But you know what? At least he throws the ball downfield. At least he slings that thing. So you know what it means? At least we're going to get some more receptions downfield to guys like Slayton and Malik Neighbors. And all I need now is some Malik Neighbors deep touchdown receptions, and I'll start feeling a whole lot better about this team. Even if we lose in shootouts, at least we're in shootouts, you know? When the Giants go up against a team that hangs 30 points, there's just no way for them to compete anymore. Now, if they were to make a change, perhaps something could spark in this offense, and they could start scoring more points. But right now, like I said, I think barreling into this Monday night game, we are looking at the Daniel Jones death day, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. I think that this era is finally coming to a close. I think that it's an ownership all the way down thing. Everybody is starting to feel it. Brian Daboll didn't just bench Daniel Jones because he wanted to keep him healthy in the fourth quarter of the Eagles game. He benched him because he was playing like shit and he was sick and tired of watching it from the sideline. So he wanted to give somebody else an opportunity. And you know what? If he's feeling that way for the fourth quarter of the Eagles game and that terrible play from Jones continues into the first quarter of the Steelers game, I don't think he makes it past halftime, Daniel Jones does. It's going to be a very short leash from now on, as it should have been from the start of the season, as it should have been when he threw a pick six and another interception against the freaking Texans in preseason, Alex. This leash always should have been short for Daniel Jones. I can't believe he made it through 7 starts this season. It's infuriating as all hell, but here we are going into week 8. I think the leash is finally shortened. I think if he has a bad first half, we'll see Drew Lock in the second half, and we will start to feel like, okay, at least the Giants are making an effort to turn things around. Because right now, they feel complacent. They feel like they're fine with the losing. They just want to appease Daniel Jones and show him respect, even though he's making $40 million of respect. They just want to keep giving him his respect as the starting quarterback and the team captain. I don't care about any of that shit, guys. I just want to see this Giants team win. So if they're going to bench him, get it over with. Rip it off like a Band-Aid. Do it after the first half if he plays poorly. He should only get the first half given to him. Anything after that is bonus. Don't give it to him. He's got to earn that. So that's how I feel about it. It's going to be an interesting Monday night for sure. And I'm looking forward to the benching. I really am. But, of course, we're going to continue to update you guys on all of that. And as promised, we're going to be talking rookie quarterbacks as well. Some guys who might be available in the 2025 NFL Draft. We are really excited to discuss Cam Ward, to discuss Shedeur Sanders, and some of these other guys. We are very excited to go through these rookie quarterbacks for next year's draft class and discuss them on this channel. So stay tuned to that and so much more surrounding the New York Giants right here on Fireside Giants. Make sure to check out BetUS. Use YouTube code YouTube150 and go check it out. Fastest payouts in the industry with that sportsbook, BetUS. Go ahead and check it out. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. Listen on Apple or Spotify. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. But without further ado, we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.